Hey, it's your girl Barbie J. Welcome to my channel. Hey, everybody, it's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of Tyler Perry's comedy drama Zatima, Season 3, Episode 10, Twin Flames. And this episode starts off with Zack beating up Jeremiah when Tony, Nate, and Connie run over to try to stop him from killing his brother. Nate gets thrown down, Tony gets kicked, and Connie gets tossed off of Zack's back. And then when Zack gets so mad, he goes to pick up a stick to start beating on Jeremiah. Tony runs and into him and knocks him down onto the ground. And then they pick him up. He's like, get off me and all that stuff. And he's like, look, let me get you home. And then Zack spits at Jeremiah and walks away. Meanwhile, Nate and Connie get Jeremiah up and take him to the hospital. Now we have this scene with Angela in her house when Fatima comes by and Angela says, oh, I'm asleep. She was like, you gonna tell her you sleep? And next thing you know, Fatima comes in talking about you forgot I have a key. And so Angela's rolling her eyes up in her head like she don't want to say nothing to her. And she's on the couch, by the way. So Fatima apologizes for something she said to Angela, which hurt Angela's feelings. So I think it was something about possibly her choices in men, because Fatima did say, I just want you to find one man who loves you and will treat you right. But Fatima said more than that. But Angela then threw up Zack in her face, and she was like, yes, like Zack do have his problem, but Zack is a good man. And she said, yeah, and you working overtime to keep him one, so Fatima couldn't say anything. It's like touche, you know what I mean? So anyway, Fatima goes, well, I see you took my advice. You're home alone. She said, who said I'm alone? Because she was like, oh, somebody's here? And she was like, yeah, I already put him to sleep. And she was like, what? And she's like, no, let me go home. I was going to stay over, but I'm going. She said, no, you can stay. She said, no, I'm going to go home. She said, you can stay. I'll put him out and stuff. She asked her, did she have clothes? She said she going to go home in the morning. She giving time for Zack to calm down. So Angela went up there to put the guy out. She goes, Big D. I said, oh my God, she got a name for him. So she's still sleeping around with all of these different men. So I'm not sure what advice Fatima gave us, what Fatima said about her that's causing Angela's feelings to be hurt, because we didn't get to see episode 9. So I am clueless as to what Fatima actually said to Angela. So next we had this scene with Deja, and Zack pulls in with Tony, and she's in his driveway, and she's letting him know that she's calling the police on Fatima because Fatima went off in her birthday party and destroyed her stuff and destroyed her cake. And Zack is like, I don't care, and all this stuff. And he was like, you need to drop it, you need to let it go. She said, I'll let it go once Fatima's in handcuffs. And she's just going on, and he don't want to hear it. And Deja, she's funny, but he ain't in the mood. And she said, and that's just why she hiding. And she ain't here. He's like, really? How long ago did she leave? She said about an hour, and she knows she better hide because the police coming. So Zack was like, that's all I need to know. And Deja was trying to block him from getting into his house, wanting him to stay there. He was like, you can wait outside, but wait on your side. Don't wait on my property. And she was like, what kind of landlord are you? He said, a good one. You still living here. And then she kept asking him, what happened to your hand? He said, mind your business and go in your house. She said, you are my business. You're my neighbor. He said, just leave me alone. And he and Tony went into the house while Deja was still on hold with the police. So now we have Zack and Tony in the house, and they're talking, and Zack is trying to rewrap his hand. And, I don't know why he took the bandages off. He had to just have put them on. It could have only been on a couple of hours. You know what I mean? So he was rewrapping his hand, and Nate, no, I keep saying Nate, Tony was trying to talk to him and say, well, what was that all about? That wasn't just about no Fatima. It's got to be more going on. And he was like, it ain't nothing else going on. He tired. He need to get some sleep. He's trying to ignore everything that Tony's saying. And he's like, I thought you was going to help me. Tony was like, you didn't need my help. He said, you're right. I didn't need your help. He said, but did you ever think and ask yourself why Jeremiah is acting that way? And he's like, no, and I don't care. He said, look, two people could grow up in the same way, in the same house or whatever, and come out different ways or learn different ways. Look at how you turned out, but then look at how he turned out, and he was trying to get Zack to think and consider, why his brother's the way he is or something. And Zack wasn't trying to hear it, and he didn't even care. And then Tony says, well, do you want me, are you going to call Fatima? Like, where's Fatima? He said, I don't know. He said, she's not going to answer my calls. That's what she do because she's mad. She ain't going to answer. He was like, you want me to call her? He's like, do what you want to do. He said, you do what the F you want to do. And he's like, okay, man, I'm out. And they said, okay, boys for life or whatever. And Tony left out. When Tony gets out, Deja's still in the driveway, acting fool, asking questions. What happened to Zack's hand? I'm still waiting for the cops. Da 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 da. And he's like, you nosy. And he told him, I'm not Nate. She was like, ain't nobody said that. Cool out, chocolate. She called him. And he's like, look. And he just walked away. But you walk away and go on the other side of your car, still in earshot of Deja, and you call Fatima. I was like, why did they get so stupid? Why you didn't just get in your car and close the door and call Fatima? So he's letting Fatima know that Deja's calling the police on her. And Fatima said, I wish she would. I wish she would, And he said, well, she's saying that they're coming. So she asked him, how's Zack doing? And she said she came down earlier and he was gone. Is he still looking for Jeremiah? And Tony's like, well, I don't know. She's like, are you lying to me? He said, why would I lie to you? And she's like, where is he then? He was like, are you coming home tonight? Do you want me to tell him that you coming home? She said, don't tell him nothing. Don't tell him. She said, when I'm ready to talk to him, I'll talk to him. He said, okay. And then he hangs up and says she got anger issues. I'm like, she was very calm on the phone compared to how Zack was talking to you inside. So I'm like, Tony, stay out of it. Mind your business. Okay? Stop lying to each one. Zack did not ask you to call her. You chose to do that. You know what I mean? Anywho. Now we're at the hospital with Connie and Nate. And Connie's finding out that two of her braids came out. She was like, I ain't breaking up no more fights between Zack and Jeremiah. She's like, I was pissed. She was pissed. But then Nate said he like blacked out. And Connie said, yeah, he snapped. I was even scared. But Tony said the same thing to him, like, dude, you blacked out and just was going. What's going on? Because this ain't just about Fatima. He said it. So now these two are talking, and Connie is real concerned, whereas Nate is saying, no, Jeremiah's going to be okay. He just got his ass beat. That's all. She said, nah, that's when he was young. He ain't young no more. But Nate is optimistic. He said, he going to be all right. Zack going to be all right. We family. He got me, you, Tony, and then Connie said Fatima. He's like, with the Fatima. She's like, look, Fatima be holding him down, whether you like it or not. And she said, if he loves her, we got to love her too because we love him. And Nate was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And for you to say that, that's some mature shit right there. And she was like, thank you. No, she didn't say it like that. So then now Connie says, we're all mature except you. What's up with you and Belinda? He thinks they're dating. She said, Belinda ain't the chick to date. She's the chick that F's. Okay? He said, well, I thought we was. She's like, what's about Lori? What about your kids? He's like, you knew that was never going to work. She was like, maybe. He said, she crazy. She said, do you ever think maybe you make them crazy? Belinda crazy too, it seemed, if you ask me. And so as they talking, you hear the alarms going, bing, 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 cold blue, cold blue. And you see all these doctors running into this room. And Nate is like, oh no, that's Jeremiah's room. And Nate is freaking out. He's like, oh no, is something wrong? Connie's like, that's not good. But then Nate is like, should I call somebody? She's like, no, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. They're going to take care. He said, no, we got to call somebody. We got to do. And she's like, calm down. And it just went to the next scene with Angela and Bryce having breakfast together. And they're all dressed up for work. It seems that Angela invited him over for breakfast because she said Fatima said some stuff about her and men, and she just wanted to hear Bryce's part about it. And he's like, Well, what did she say? That you won't commit, that you like to control everything, that you let people fall. She's like, wait, hold up. He just started going off and saying all this stuff. She said, you just had that in the pocket waiting to say it? Like, what's up with that? So he was like, well, and so he said, it's not that bad. She said, it sounded like it was that bad when you said it. So then Fatima came down and said, oh, I thought I heard somebody. He's like, hi, Fatima. Yeah, she invited me over for breakfast. She said, I see. Okay. So then Fatima said she's going to leave and get dressed for work. And then Bryce said, oh, by the way, I know what's going on, because I'm the one who gave Preston Dr. Reed's number. So he don't know if Zack spoke to him or not. So that's another part of episode 9 that we didn't know about, that I need to probably re-edit my video that I just did. Anywho, so Fatima leaves and Bryce is like, you sure, Angela, you want to do this now? Because she still want to ask him. She's still asking him stuff. And he said, we're going to need a cup of coffee or something. And she was like, no, just go on. He said, wow. He said, you don't have to go to work or something. She said, I got a few minutes. He said, oh, this is going to take a long time. She's like, Bryce, really? And now it switched over to Fatima coming home. And she's in the driveway. And who comes out? Bam, like clockwork. Deja. Oh, you back home, she says. She said, that's okay, because I got the police here. They going to come and get you. I'm right here, officer. She's here now. Yeah, she's got on the gray this and got that. And Fatima's like, I'm 5'6" and got a fat ass and all this stuff. She tell the police, yeah, she's here. So she gets inside and she sees the bloody rag and the ice pack on the table. So she calls Tony, asking, where did they go last night? What did they do? And Tony not trying to tell her. She said, oh my God, tell me that's not Jeremiah's blood. You didn't find him. He's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh boy, Fatima, you get up early. I know. She said, you know what? Don't lie to me. And Tony didn't tell her, and she hung up on him. And next thing, Zack come down the stairs like in a good mood, and he's acting like he feels better. She's like, tell me this ain't Jeremiah's blood. He's like, he wouldn't say nothing. She's like, oh my God. He said, look, we're not going to talk about it. He said, I feel good. And I forgot to tell y'all about that, because that's what Tony kept asking Zack. Does he feel good about what he did? And Zack, I don't think he really could answer it. I think he really didn't. He said, I know you don't. He said, you have to feel like shit now. I remember Tony said to him, but Zack was quiet back then, didn't want to talk, saying he's tired, want to go to sleep. But now he's saying he feels good. And so Fatima's like throwing up her hands like, well, you know what, whatever. He's like, we're not going to talk about this, right? We ain't talking about this again. Fatima said, whatever you want to do, and then you hear bang, bang, bang on the door. And she said, who is it? He's like, the police. And so she's figuring it's with Deja's BS. But something in my heart told me that it wasn't going to be for Deja. Because when they opened it and she's like, what do you want? And I'm like, that's how you talk to the police? What do you want? And they was like, we want Zachary Taylor. And Fatima's like, what you want him for? And so Zachary stepped forward and he's like, what's going on? And the officer says, you're under arrest for the murder of Jeremiah Matthews. I said, whoa, what? What? He said, stop resisting arrest. And he put him in handcuffs. Bam, just like that. And all Fatima could do was stand and just shake her head looking at him. So y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all thought about this episode. And I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl Barbie J saying peace.